Hello and welcome to Evolve by Erica, the podcast. This is Erica Polsinelli, your host, and we are here to talk about things all 5D, high vibrational, meditation, health, wellness, spirituality, and beyond. Come on in. Hello guys, and welcome back for another episode. I love when I find that inspiration and flow to come on and record. I want to share the last solo episode I did. Actually, it's not going to be in that order. The last one I did on my evolution with alcohol was the second recording. So just giving you some behind the scenes here. I need to be in a state of divine connection to my highest self, and flow when I record. So I recorded one episode, and I knew I had to record one because my podcast managers were waiting on one for me. And I recorded it, I put it out there, and then 2 days before it's supposed to release, I didn't listen to it again. I just knew how I felt when I recorded it, and I was like, you know what? No, I need to do like a 2.0 version of that. I got just better stuff to put out. I feel so divinely connected and guided to have this conversation today. And I just felt that like talking about alcohol in general, especially as a spiritual person, being teacher, I want to be so mindful with my words. And I knew I had to re-record this. Shout out to Huff Studios for being actual angels. So Laura is an Evolve member actually, and that's how we came to work together. She saw that I was starting a podcast and she was like, Erica, like, I got you. Let's go. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, I do this for a living. I'm like, oh my God. So I do everything for Evolve myself, and it is literally divine that I was able to have their help and we were able to come together to produce and create this podcast. So the reason why I'm giving them a shout out is because they do a fantastic job, but also they respect working with a spiritual being. And they already went over that last podcast, that the original one I did on alcohol, and they edited it. They did all the things to it. And I texted them this morning on Monday. It launches Wednesday. And I was like, guys, I just am more connected to my higher self today. I need to re-record that. And they're like, you know what? Just do it. Get it to us ASAP. Like, that is just so incredible to work with people who just get energy, who respect your boundaries, who respect your quality of work you want to put out, and understand that this is more than just putting out a podcast. This is like a true transmission and channeling. Oh, I just needed to give them some love today. So here we are with another episode because I feel just so guided, so connected to my higher self, and I really want to have this conversation today. So let's get into it. I wanted to talk about how effing powerful this practice is, not only for ourselves, but for the other people in our lives. Guys, when we heal ourselves, everything changes. When we take time to change the inner environment, every single thing in the external environment changes. The way things look, the way you perceive things, the way you feel as you interact with other people. Everything changes when you do the healing work. And this could be any type of healing work. It could be a yoga asana practice. It could be Reiki practice. It could be anything. But just so you know, here I go with my shameless plugs of Kundalini, because I mean, this is divine. This is ancient. I can't take credit for it. I'm just the vehicle there. It's not something I created. It's something I was guided to, but this is the express train. If you want to get shit done, and if you want to do it in the fastest means possible, that's Kundalini. And that's this divine energy that we connect to. So when we connect to whatever healing modality it is, when you are doing the work, changes happen. And if you want changes to happen quickly, Kundalini's your route, okay? It's like the express train. You just catapult. So what's been coming through to me for a while is And it's just been really in the forefront of my mind and my brain, is how when we change, everything changes around us and our relationships. And I want to just give you an example. I was talking to someone who recently got a new dog, and she was feeling guilt about loving her new dog with all her heart and giving her whole self to this dog because she lost the love of her life, which was her first dog, like the true love of her life. And she was saying that, like, I feel guilty. I feel like I can't really go there with this dog and give it all the love that I'm capable of because I feel guilty for the other dog. And you could see this a lot of different ways. As a human, you get it. Guilt is a real emotion that we process. But as I was helping her work through this, I brought it on. So she had this other experience. She told me that one day she woke up and she felt so guided to just like give this dog all this love and like play with it in the way that she played with the other dog and like get so excited. And the dog felt it and actually had an accident right there in front of her eyes, which showed her it was like the physical. It was the physical experience of her actually seeing this dog experience love on a higher frequency, that he was actually unable to control his bodily functions because he felt and received such an elated vibration from her. And I said to her, do you see? You can't hold yourself back anymore, because it's not this dog's fault that your other dog passed away. And even if it was, love is the highest frequency. And you will change the trajectory of this child's life or of this dog's life. And you could see this as a child. I think that was like a Freudian slip, because this could happen with your children as well, and your relationship with your significant other, whoever it may be. So you can live from this place of guilt, and that being that you're caring for, that you're raising, or that you're having a relationship with, will receive that frequency and feel that frequency of guilt coming through. Or you could tap into love, give it your all, and break that pattern and cycle. And now allow this being to experience the fullest capacity of your embodiment, of your love, of your expression. And it's just so powerful, because then I started to think about it on another level. Say it was a child, say you loved your first child so much, and the second child came and you almost felt guilty. And you felt guilty to give that child love. We have been conditioned into a state of lack. We've been conditioned, and we've been put in the constraints of lack rather than abundance. And what we need to lean into and know is that abundance is our birthright. There's unlimited amounts of love to share. And we have to step out of that place of lack and into that place of love and wholeness. And so I saw this example through the dog, and then I thought of it on another level of like children and raising children, and like loving your first child so much and then maybe not giving that same love to your second child. How will that then impact your second child? And this is not to put any guilt on anyone or have you regret anything. It's to bring awareness so that you can step out of that pattern and start to infuse all of that love into that relationship. So this is just one example or two examples of how the practice and the state of awareness starts to change and impact the relationships you have. And it could be the same with a pet, same with a child, and also in your intimate relationships. I'll tell you a funny story. I hope Vinny doesn't get mad about this one. Recently, we went to an event in the city, and we knew it was pretty formal. And he wanted to wear, one of his Vinny Pulcinelli outfits. Like, he has his own unique sense of style. And is it my style? No, not at all. And with some people, when Vinny and I were dating, my parents would be like, what the F is this guy wearing? Like, he would wear these hats with feathers on it and like whatever. He just like lets his freak flag fly with fashion and whatever. Like, that's his form of expression. And it's funny because I think some people would most likely assume that I was attracted to his sense of style or his physical being, but it was all energetic from the moment I met him. I didn't even like see the material things that he wore because of the energy that he really radiated. So I am, that's a disclaimer. Do not judge me for what he wears. I'm cracking myself up over here, but I'm actually very, very connected to my third eye and my crown right now with this conversation. So I'm going to allow it to flow. So he recently wore an outfit that was most likely, a lot of people would think it was inappropriate for where we're going. It was a tank top. He probably should have been in a suit or a sports jacket. And he asked me, he's like, can I wear this? And I'm like, I mean, can you? Like, I don't think it's appropriate, but if this is how you choose to express yourself, if this is how you wish to dress, if this is how you're going to feel your best, do it. Like, what the F do I care? And like, if you don't care that other people might think you look inappropriate or you, whatever they may say you're not dressy enough. Like, if you don't care, I don't care. Like, this is your life. Like, do you, bro? And so he did. And he got ripped on by a lot of his friends. But like, I just feel that that's just another example of where this practice has taken me, where we start to be less in the ego and more into the space of acceptance and of truth, and less in our insecurities and more into the space of flow and authenticity. So my ego could have crept in and said, oh, people are going to talk about you, or people are going to make fun of him, or people, whatever, like all of those stupid nonsense conversations that actually consume way more of us than you might realize. And I feel like this practice just helps us to step out of that and realize, like, what's the most important? The most important thing is not the clothes that we wear, but the energy that we bring and the experiences that we have and how we make people feel, rather than the material goods we have or the way that we look. And this evolution of our souls is stepping more out of that material, more out of the here and now, more out of judgment, more out of reacting from our wounds, and more into a space of connection with divine. So when we connect to divine on an individual level, and when we're able to work through our own shit, we are projecting so much less shit onto anybody else. Sorry if there's a child in the car, but you guys know by now, sometimes I get a little passionate here. So you probably have seen on social media, whether it be on your account or other people's accounts, or just even in the media in general, there is so much projecting going on. There's so much force of like, you need to believe what I believe, or you shouldn't do this, or you shouldn't say this, or you shouldn't, whatever it may be. We're shitting all over ourselves and each other. And when we step more into that divine space, and when we start to release the wounds from ourselves, the insecurities from ourselves, through our breath, through our mantra, through our practice, we then project less shit onto anybody else. And that's really how it works. It really is how it works. And what I've been challenging myself with lately is, if someone else makes me feel a type of way, if someone else triggers me, if someone else brings out like the ugly in me, or that uncomfortable, or that resistance within myself, I stop and I ask my higher self, and I ask divine, what is it within me that needs to heal? What is it within me that needs to heal? Because no matter what frequency even if someone is ill-intended coming at me, I'm an alchemist. I can transmute energy. Nothing has to interfere with me. It's only if I allow it to. My stomach is growling so deeply right now, but I'm like my clearest channel when I don't have anything in my system. So I'm not sure if you could hear that, but it's like, whoa. But that's why I feel so crystal clear in this conversation. So bringing it back to ourselves constantly, when we feel discomfort, when we feel aggravation, when we feel triggered? What is it within me that needs to transform, that needs to heal, that needs to elevate and ascend? And sometimes we may not know. We might have no idea. So what I've done recently, which was so freaking powerful, I was feeling some type of way. And I asked the universe, whatever it is I'm experiencing, can you please come in and help me to crack that open and elevate it? Because I don't like what I'm feeling. I don't like feeling those lower frequencies. I don't like feeling whatever it may be, whether it's guilt, shame, jealousy, tension, comparison, whatever it is. Invite divine in to come in and help you transmute that and ascend it, because your intention is so powerful. You don't need to know the origin. You don't need to know the reason. You don't need to know anything except that you have the power to transcend and transmute any lower frequency that you may be experiencing. So if you wish to have a higher, better, stronger relationship with yourself, I suggest doing the work, spending the time with yourself. If you wish to have a healthier marriage, a healthier friendship, a healthier mother-daughter relationship, a healthier brother-sister relationship, I suggest doing the work on yourself, because you are part of that relationship. And when you do the work within yourself, your responses, how you speak, how you react, how you exchange energy is going to be from a higher place, because you're embedding those patterns within you. You're clearing your subconscious, you're clearing your wounds, and you're becoming a clearer channel so that you could show up without all your baggage, without all your shit. You're clearing the space so that you can welcome in a healthier relationship, a healthier interaction. It truly all starts within us. And sometimes I just want to scream at the people I love so much who are going through challenging times, or who are falling into a victim mindset, or who are not seeing things clearly. Like, just go within. Just lean into this practice. Just know how powerful you truly are, and how powerful this golden chain of teachings, that's what we tune into with Kundalini and Om Namo Gurudev Namo. We not only tune into our highest self, we tune into the ancestors that have come before us, all the teachers, all the healers that have come before us. Whether maybe that's Jesus to you because you're Catholic, maybe it's Abraham to you, maybe it's angels, people who have passed away. That's what we're tuning into. And that's why we're embedded with all of this wisdom. All of a sudden, like me, I've had this experience. You wake up and you're like, holy shit, I'm smarter. Holy shit, how do I have this perspective? I feel so wise. Overnight, it feels like it's overnight. It's not overnight. It happens with every moon day, every portal day, every morning meditation that you do. It's happening slowly, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, how did I get here? How have I been updated and upgraded with all of this wisdom and divine energy? It's through the work. It's absolutely through the work, and taking moments to celebrate that work. And if you've had these experiences, they're really freaking cool. A lot of the people I work with one-on-one have shared that they've had these experiences, and people that have consistently brought themselves to the practice every morning. But you step back, you have this bird's eye view. You're in an interaction with someone, okay? And then in this moment, right before you respond or react, you zoom out and you're like, wow, our ego Erica, or old self Erica, would totally respond this way, but I've created the new neural pathways. That's not how I respond anymore. This is how I respond. And you respond from your highest self. You respond with divine energy, and you fucking feel that. It's like a powerful force comes over you. And it flows, it feels good, it flows right out of you. Where in the past, in the old self, in the ego, maybe your skin got red, maybe your heart raced, maybe the anger bubbled up in every single cell. This time, you get a quick flashback of that, and you step into this new space. You step into this space of flow, of expression, of true expression, because you've embodied your highest self. Your ego had a death, and the ego has multiple, the ego's always there forever, but we just shed layers of it as we heal and ascend from each wound that we have. We no longer speak or act from the space of a wound, but we act from the space of love and our higher self. And when we're able to do that, we infuse that frequency of 528 hertz, the frequency of love, the highest frequency. We infuse that into our relationship. We infuse that into our interaction. And then that person learns from us. They feel that frequency from us. They see how you responded to them. And then the next time, or maybe they would be triggered to respond from their old self, they resort back to that new frequency that you've created, that new line of exchange that you've created within yourself and them. And then they respond from that higher self. They think for a moment in their minds, ooh, I remember when Erica didn't act from her place of wound. She let me lean into who I want to be. She allowed me to express myself in the way that I did. She understood me when I upset her and was able to tap into her higher self. Now I'm going to do the same back to her. And in those moments, in those small interactions, your relationship with whomever it is enters a new plane, enters a new level of communication, a new level of understanding, a new trajectory, living on a completely different field and truly a different dimension. And you start to feel that and experience that. So I feel the power of that transmission that I just shared and that clear channel that I was able to access and tap into. And I hope that that was well received by you. I am in a very, very high frequency right now as I share this. And if you're listening and you're triggered, or if something doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. You might come back to this, and this might speak to every freaking cell in your body at some point. And I said that on 22 minutes and 22 seconds. So I know that this message is meant to be shared. And I know that if it's not received the first time, I welcome you to come back and listen to this again and again as often as possible to help you dip into that frequency. But it's interesting. There may be a time where I come back and listen and I'll be like, woof, I was flying in that 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th dimension during this podcast. I want to feel that right now and again. And that's the human experience. Sometimes we're in this state and other times we're not. And I'll be honest, Cancer season has been a really, really intense one. But I'm finally feeling that clarity and that relief and that power that comes with this Leo season. And I hope that wherever we are in this season, as this podcast releases, you're feeling tapped into your divine strength and divine power. Thank you so much for being here. I share this because I truly desire to be tuned into my highest self as often as possible. I yearn to do the work, no matter how hard it is, to have access as often as possible to my higher self. And it's my mission to empower you and to share with you that it is possible, to encourage and inspire you to want to show up, have the consistency and the discipline to show up for yourself every damn day. And to show you that this works not only for you, but it trickles out into every relationship you have. And then if you can continue to view that ripple effect, it expands far and wide. And we're here to elevate the frequency and the consciousness on earth. And that's exactly what we're doing with these conversations, with our daily morning practice. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here, for doing this work. Please share this episode with anyone that you think anyone you think may need it, may benefit from it. And if you feel guided to like, subscribe, leave a comment or review, that just helps this get into the hands or the ears to more people. So I would be so honored and grateful for you to go ahead and do that if you feel guided to. Thank you so much. I'm sharing so much love with you. May the longtime sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide guide your way on. Sat Nam.